his experience with Indira Gandhi, where once apparently Indira Gandhi said, you catch Pranab Mukherjee and bang him on the head, only smoke will come out, no stories will come out, no information will come out. So he was a person who was very conscious of the role he had played in Indian history, but I also helped him write his autobiography.
Yes.
And that was special because then he would open up, he would talk, he would discuss, he would remember, and his editors and I would sit together and try and put it all together. But then the problem also was that he was extremely particular that he not reveal any secret. It should not harm anyone. It should not damage anyone. So often he would tell us a beautiful story and we will all be rushing away saying, let's write it out. And then suddenly he calls us back and say, no, not that story.
Hello and welcome. This is Pallavi and you are watching Indian Masterminds. Today we speak with Venu Rajamony, a senior Indian diplomat and academic who has represented India at some of the world's most important global platforms. A former ambassador to India to the Netherlands, he also served as India's permanent representative to the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, handling relations with institutions like the International Court of Justice. He was also the press secretary to President Pranab Mukherjee, working closely with the Rashtrapati Bhavan for 5 years. Post his diplomatic career, he served as officer on special duty for external cooperation for the government of Kerala with the rank of chief secretary. He now teaches diplomatic practice at Jindal Global Law School. In this conversation, we explored the human side of diplomacy, leadership, and life beyond official roles. So let's welcome Mr. Rajamony. Hi, sir. Welcome to Indian Masterminds.
Hi, Pallavi. Nice to meet you.
Your career spanned from Dubai to Hague. So which posting you right now also you remember very promptly and which kind of transformed you as a person also?
Well, I've enjoyed every one of my postings. They've all been special and I have absolutely no reason to complain in any manner. My first posting was in Hong Kong, then in Beijing. I came back to Delhi. I went to Geneva. And I had an opportunity to work in the Indian mission to the United Nations there. Switzerland is a very beautiful country. Then I went back to Beijing for a second time. I came to Delhi. I worked with the Indian foreign minister as the head of his office. Then I went to Washington, D.C. I was in Washington, D.C. when the India-US nuclear deal was concluded. Then I was sent as Consul General of India to Dubai. Dubai is always a very important place for India because of the large Indian community, because of trade, because of investments. And from Dubai, I came back to Delhi again. I spent time in the Ministry of Finance, being responsible for World Bank, IMF, ADB, etc. And then I spent 5 years with President Pranab Mukherjee before going on to Netherlands as ambassador. So all these postings have been wonderful. I've been able to contribute a lot, I believe, and I have enjoyed my stay there. But if still I'm asked to pick one out of the lot, I would say Dubai was the best. Dubai was the best because it was the most challenging. There were so many problems. It was a 24/7 job. You had to do your utmost to try and help resolve some of the issues that members of the Indian community face. At the same time, you had to increase outreach to the Arabs. You had to tell them about the changing India. You had to promote trade. You had to promote investment. So it was an extremely busy period, but also a very productive period in which I left with the satisfaction that I had made a difference. And I had in particular made a difference in the lives of ordinary Indians who live in the Gulf, who live in UAE. And that is an opportunity not many in the foreign service get. Often you are in touch with leaders of countries, parliamentarians, civil servants, diplomats, journalists, the elite.
Right.
But it's rarely that as a foreign service officer, you have an opportunity to make a difference in the lives of the poor, the ordinary Indians. And that I was able to do in Dubai. And that really has been special for me. And I think that built in me a lot of confidence about what I can do, how I can set goals, how I can mobilize a team, not necessarily from the embassy, but even from the community to work towards collective goals. And I was extremely grateful for the huge amount of love and affection I got from both my Arab friends as well as from my Indian friends.
Okay. And so there were many high points in your career, many cases, and but I wanted to, since we are short of time, so I wanted to know. Correct me if I am wrong, but you were the part of Indian delegation before the ICJ in the Jadhav case. So I wanted to know a bit about behind the scene about that case because it was making headlines everywhere, especially in our country. All eyes were on that. So I wanted to know how was that experience and what was going on behind the scenes.
The experience was wonderful, and clearly my role was a local role in the Netherlands. It was to liaise with the International Court of Justice to support the Indian delegation which had come. The Indian delegation had officers of the Ministry of External Affairs, and the bulk of the preparatory work was done in the Ministry of External Affairs. But we also had one of India's most well-known lawyers, Mr. Salve, come in from London. So we together constituted the team, and I was doing all the preparatory work, talking to the ICJ, talking to the registrar, going and meeting them regularly, making sure everything happens as per plan. There's no surprise, because it was Pakistan on the other side. There was always concern. There was always worry that they will pull a fast one and they will try and do something which we were not anticipating. So I had to be on my toes, and I had to be continuously in contact with the ICJ and ensure that the trial takes place in a very smooth manner, that our delegation can come, we can present our case before the judges, and the delegation has every opportunity to brainstorm, to discuss, to prepare before the case. So it was a fascinating experience going through the whole motions, learning from Mr. Salve, seeing how he works itself was a wonderful learning. Once again, I have a background in law, I have a background in international politics. All this came to play. But let me also mention that as a young man, my father also would have liked me to become lawyer. That never happened. But I thought ultimately after he passed away, wherever he is up there in heaven, he would have been very happy to see me sitting in the International Court of Justice, something which he never got to do. Right. While he practiced in domestic courts, I got to go to the International Court of Justice. And in a different case called Chagos Peninsula, the Indian government asked me to appear on behalf of the Indian government. So there I was all alone, and I made the presentation before the International Court of Justice. So that was also a very special and rare opportunity.
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask about, but obviously we don't have that much time. So now coming straight to your journey, your stint as the media secretary of Pranab Mukherjee, our ex-president. So I wanted to know two things. What exactly is the role of a media secretary of the president, and also how it was to work so closely with the president, because I can see the pictures. You were there with him in almost every of his religious visits and professional visits everywhere. So how was it working closely with Mr. Pranab Mukherjee?
Very happy to tell you about that. The press secretary's primary interface is with the media, and it is to talk about the president, the presidency, to convey decisions of the president, to organize interactions for the president with the media, to get him feedback from the media. So everything to do with media was my primary charter, but that was not all. As you pointed out, I was involved in all his visits. I was involved in all his important meetings. I was involved in all the important functions that took place in the Rashtrapati Bhavan, like the swearing in of Prime Minister Modi when he was elected, like the foreign leaders who visited India, President Obama, for example, Emperor of Japan, the President of UAE. Anything and everything that happened in Rashtrapati Bhavan, the press secretary was an intrinsic part. We were part of the top leadership, the top management of the Rashtrapati Bhavan. And coming to the second question with President Mukherjee, I had an absolutely wonderful time. He was a delightful person to work with. There was few politicians who have had as much experience as him, but at the same time, he was very human. He was a father figure. He was always loving. He was always affectionate, always willing to teach. He was a teacher at heart. So you ask him a question, he's always willing to open up and educate you on it, especially if it involves politics. He had a tremendous memory for facts and figures, and he could remember details of budgets from the first budget which was presented to the Indian Parliament post-independence. And President Pranab Mukherjee was also a reformer. So during his term, we were able to do a number of things in the Rashtrapati Bhavan which had never before happened. For example, we opened it out to the public. We articulated his vision that he came from a very poor background, and he had risen to the topmost position in our country. So the message should go that this is possible for any Indian.
Right.
And while in terms of history, the Rashtrapati Bhavan is a relic of the colonial past. Today, post-independence, it is represented, it is the building where the senior most official of an independent sovereign republic lives, works, functions, and the place where all important events and functions of India happen. So once again, it is a people's monument today. So people should have a right to come in, to visit, to see it, to enjoy its beauty, to be part of its activities. So we created new museums, opened it out to the public. We had a change of guard ceremony, which we organized there. Several days of week, public could come and visit Rashtrapati Bhavan, including its interiors, and see what happens. So people who had been kept away earlier for security reasons, all those security reasons were removed and they were brought in. We had a program for farmers in residence, innovators in residence, teachers in residence, artists in residence. We opened up the guest wing to governors and foreign dignitaries to once again come and stay. So it was a period when Rashtrapati Bhavan blossomed. It was a beehive of activity, and it established itself as an institution which is closely connected, not just with Delhi, but with the rest of India. And to be part of that process of change and to contribute it was a tremendous experience.
Okay. Any personal memory with him that you still cherish, which you remember right now?
Well, I sort of had lots of opportunities to interact with him during his travels and otherwise, but I also helped him write his autobiography.
Yes.
And that was special because then he would open up, he would talk, he would discuss, he would remember, and his editors and I would sit together and try and put it all together. But then the problem also was that he was extremely particular that he not reveal any secret. It should not harm anyone. It should not damage anyone. So often he would tell us a beautiful story and we will all be rushing away saying, let's write it out. And then suddenly he calls us back and say, no, not that story. So he used to talk about his experience with Indira Gandhi, where once apparently Indira Gandhi said, you catch Pranab Mukherjee and bang him on the head. Only smoke will come out. No stories will come out. No information will come out. So he was a person who was very conscious of the role he had played in Indian history and responsible that he should some information would die with him and should never be revealed. As a result, his autobiography became very boring. It was not gossipy. It was not rapid reading for a reader, for a casual reader. But it is a wonderful record of all that he was part of during his very eventful political life.
Yeah. So from his biography to your writing career, you have also published many books, and your work ranges from geopolitics to art portfolios. So I wanted to know how your journey started and what are you right now working on? Anything to publish?
Well, my journey really started with what happened in my life. I was selected to be an Asia Foundation Fellow and go to Washington for 6 months. So while the Asia Foundation did not place any demands on me, once again, I had a very good friend who said, don't lose the opportunity, you must write something.
Yeah.
And so through a large number of discussions, and I used that opportunity to visit large number of universities across US and Canada, to meet with professors, to interact with them. So the idea arose that I should write a monograph before my 6-month period concludes. And that's how the first piece which is called the India-China-US Triangle, a soft balance of power in the making, was written. And I was overwhelmed that even before I had gone to Washington, D.C. from China. And before I returned back to China, the Chinese had translated into Chinese language and circulated it amongst all their institutions. And the conclusions I drew there then are still valid. So I'm very proud of that. But going on from there, then when I was in Dubai, I discovered that there was so much about UAE, Dubai, the Arab society I did not, and especially their connections to India or India's close connections to them. In India too, we know about Dubai, we know about it as a shopping destination or once upon a time, a place from where a lot of gold smuggling took place.
Yeah.
But the enormous historical civilizational connect and the warmth that their people have for us is not adequately known in India. So as part of my work, I sort of started visiting places there, speaking to people. I visited to places with an Arab connection in India, especially in Kerala. And all this sort of made me sit up and say, look, I have to record this. Let me take photos. Let me put photos together. Let me commission photos. Let me bring text together. Thus, my book on India and the UAE was born. I called it India and the UAE in celebration of a legendary friendship. It was released by His Highness Sheikh Nahyan, who was the Minister of Higher Education then, just before I concluded my term in Dubai. And that book is still only one of its kind. And then going on from that, when I went back to Netherlands once again, when I was in Rashtrapati Bhavan, all this art was around me, around us. Nobody had recorded it. Nobody had documented it. Very few people even had access to look at it closely. And with modern technology, you could do so much more. For example, there's a beautiful Persian painting from British times on the roof of the Darbar Hall in Rashtrapati Bhavan. Okay. So if you're looking from the ground, you will strain your neck if you try to look at it carefully. And you'll have to lie on the ground, but then it is too far away. Okay. But then we got a professional photographer to go and shoot that picture closely, section by section, and then piece it all together into a monograph, have it available in blown-up scale so that scholars, art lovers can all look at it. And many paintings people did not even know existed were found in the stores of the Rashtrapati Bhavan. One was able to bring it out into the public. So that's how the art catalogs emerged. And lastly, when I went to the Netherlands, similarly, before I went, I started visiting places in India with a Dutch connection. Here again, Kerala has a strong Dutch connection. And then in the Netherlands, I started visiting museums, archives, looking for material related to India. Already because of my UAE experience, I knew that it is possible to do something about the Netherlands. So I brought out the coffee table called India, the Netherlands, Past, Present, and Future. And in the meantime, there was this biggest floods in Kerala in 2018, the biggest in 100 years. And since the Dutch are world leaders in water management, I decided to write a small book called What We Can Learn from the Dutch, Rebuilding Kerala Post-Floods of 2018. So this is essentially my writing journey. I have been on a sabbatical for some time now. A lot of people have asked me if I would write my autobiography. I did an oral autobiography in Malayalam on a television channel, which went into some 24 episodes. So I would like to put my story down and writing at some point of time. And I also spent 2 years working for the Kerala government after I retired from the Foreign Service as an officer on special duty in charge of external cooperation. Yes. So that is also a period I would like to write about. Yes. So I'm toying with all these ideas, throwing them around in my head. But at the same time, I'm busy trying to do various things and contribute to both Kerala and to Delhi and India, to the Jindal University with which I work here in Delhi, to the Jain University, whose future Kerala mission I head in Cochin. So I'm busy with all these things also. So I'm yet to find the right time and the frame of mind to sit down and bring it all together.
Yeah, thank you so much. So this was Mr. Venu Rajamony. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. To watch more such interesting conversation and stories from bureaucracy and governance, please like and subscribe our channel. Until then, stay curious and stay tuned to Indian Masterminds. Thank you so much for watching.